Welcome.
Man,
to...
this music is very hip.
Right?
Yeah, that's what our show's
welcome to the Basement
Brothers.
We are glad to have you here today with us as
on the show.
Yeah, on the show as we look at
0 people watching.
Well, yeah, there's 0 right now, but people will join. People will join in.
I know.
We're going to talk about the future, what that holds for humanity.
Wait, can I get a special sound effect?
What? Oh, you mean this?
The future.
And we're talking about the future, people. What that is in store for not only us, but also for humanity as a whole. So it's going to be an interesting little conversation and
some talkity talks.
Some talkity talks, some chatty chats. If you got any questions, as always, leave it in the comment section, and we will get to you with any answers that we have. And actually, if you do comment, it should show up
on the screen.
It should show up on the screen this time. So for those of you that watch the show after it's over, you'll actually know what we're referencing.
We'll see. Someone just typed in
chat.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, it's
Hello.
really, really small. Let me make that a little bit.
Okay,
here.
so it does show up.
It does show. Let me just kind of...
Yeet.
I'm just going to make that a little bigger for everyone to see. Okay. But big messages are going to go all the way across. So there we go. Hi guys, how's it going? How's your night going? Is it going good? Because mine's going pretty good. How's yours going, Joe?
Pretty great, you know.
Yeah? How was school today? Let's start off a little light here.
You know, I just kind of... in my geometry class, we're studying because I got my final tomorrow.
Oh, your final?
Yeah.
Are you ready for it? Oh,
yes. In fact, so you know how the teacher says you only can have one side of the note card?
Yeah.
Well, I had to mess around. I don't need a note card. I'm pretty good with the stuff. I get geometry pretty easily. But to mess around...
I'm so confident.
I decided that for my note card, since we can only get one side, I made it into a Mobius strip.
Wait, so what do you mean by that? A Mobius strip?
Okay, so it's a type of way to fold a piece of paper.
Okay.
So that it only has one side.
Why would you do that for your... Oh, so...
Because you can only use one side of the note card.
Okay, I get it.
Have you seen the Mobius strip? It's kind of like the Google Drive logo.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And it
so you only miss really the insides of it.
But right? It's still, you can still write on those, and if you unfold it, you can see what's in there.
Are they gonna be okay with that?
I don't know, but if they're not, they'll just be like, you can't use that, and then I'll throw it away, and I know my stuff anyways. I just wanted to do it as a joke. I got this idea from our brother-in-law, James.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He apparently had a friend who did that in high school, and he thought it was hilarious, and he told me that, and I was like, I have to do that too.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Are you? Oh yeah, that's right. You're coming over, aren't you?
Yeah, he is.
Spending the night, I heard. That's pretty cool because you guys don't have school on Friday.
No, we don't.
You have Friday off. Why do you have Friday off? Do you know? Is it
record keeping day?
Oh, that's right. Because guess what? Spanish with Joe, everyone.
Is gonna be coming back next week.
It's gonna be coming back next week. Yeah.
Thursday is the first day of the new trimester,
so we'll be getting some new Spanish with Joe on my vlogs. That's pretty exciting.
Oh yes.
And hopefully you'll be able to teach us some more of that beautiful language. Yeah. So I can't remember much of what you taught me before. I remember. What did you teach us again? Do you remember?
Do you remember what burrito means?
Oh, I don't remember burrito. I remember us talking about it.
It was the same. It was just burrito, James. It's already a Spanish word. But because it has double R's, you can roll your tongue.
That's right. You can do burrito. Okay. All right. Let's.
I wonder what that sounds like with the God effect.
You want to try it? Let's try it.
Burrito.
We're
having too much fun.
Let's move on. Let's do random fact. Random fact.
Interesting fact.
You want to do interesting?
Well,
Pick up a book. Pick up a book and share something cool with us, Joe.
I'm not even going to look at the books. We're not going to have a vote. I'm just going to grab a random one, okay?
Okay, go for it. What do we got?
We got the Book of Useless Information.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Give us a useless fact, Joe. And
now random page.
Get this started. Get us some drop some knowledge on us, bro.
Okay, I'm not doing that page. That's got way too much. Okay. Okay. Now what are these?
What do you got for us? What do you got for us?
I'm trying to find a page that has facts that are short enough for me to actually share.
Okay, well, while you do that, real quick, I just wanted to mention, we talked about this last time, how we're going to be doing some live streams on Twitch for gaming. We did decide on Twitch now, but I think in order to get it done right, I'm going to just use my account because there's not a way to actually create like Basement Brothers without changing my name, and I'm not really... I've built a rapport with people with my name, and I don't really want to change it and be like, oh, he's not Boris anymore. So if you're looking to watch us live stream games on Twitch, I don't know when we're starting that, probably somewhere mid-March here. Right, Joe? Somewhere mid-March,
yeah, I think
somewhere in there. We might be doing some gaming live streams on Twitch, so you'll want to follow the channel Boris with 2 R's, so BORRIS 2395. If you follow that account when we go live, you should get a notification. But it'll probably be at the same time that we're kind of doing this show, just not on this night. It'll probably be like a Thursday, probably Friday. Friday would probably be best.
Well, no, because I got my friends over on Fridays.
Oh, that's true. So probably Thursday.
Probably Thursday.
Maybe a Thursday. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Anyway, get back to the
okay.
The useless information.
So this Book of Useless Information page, we can make it into a game, okay? So it's American terms and their British equivalents. I'm going to give you the British equivalent, and you try to say what the American term is.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
And this is referring to objects?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of things in here. Like, here, let's start with a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
What is a mince?
Mince?
Mince.
That is to chop up.
No,
correct?
It's a noun in this case. They're all nouns in this. Except for, like, one of the later ones.
So it's an
mince.
object.
It's a thing.
It's a person, place, or thing. Mince. Is it a location? Can I get a hint?
Okay. It is a thing.
It's
not
a
a person or a place.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Mince? Is it... Every time I say mince, I'm thinking like a mint. But I don't think it's a mint. Well, maybe it's the utensil to mince things. So is it like a scissors or a knife?
No, it's ground beef.
There goes my camera.
There goes your camera.
Don't worry about it.
It's ground beef.
Ground beef? Why is it ground beef?
Because
that's so weird.
I mean, you mince up the ground beef to make it ground beef. So.
I get that.
Okay, this one's kind of a weird.
Give us the next one, Joe. Give us. We're doing 3, right?
Yeah, let's do 3.
Okay.
Candy floss.
I mean, that sounds pretty straight up. Like I know what it is already.
What?
Isn't it just candy floss? Like candy?
No, it's not.
So this is like okay, person, place, or thing.
It's a type of candy, but it's a specific type.
Is it candy floss? Is that cotton candy?
Yes, you got
it.
Hey,
hey, ding, 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 ding. I got it.
Now,
all right, give us the last one.
I'm going to give you one really weird one.
Go for it.
That I doubt you're going to get. What is a pram? P-R-A-M.
Pram. I feel like I've heard this before. I seriously, I think I've heard this before, but I can't recall what it is. I mean, with the word being what it is, I want to automatically jump to like a dam. But is it person, place, thing?
Thing.
Thing. Okay. So it could be some type of dam.
Could
right?
Be,
I'm gonna say some type of dam.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. It's a baby carriage or a stroller.
Oh, yep. Okay, I've heard of that before. You're correct.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those have been your random facts.
Random facts. Very
from
random.
Joe.
And useless, according to that book.
And useless.
However, if you ever go to the UK, that's not really useless. Now you know what people are talking about. If they say, I took my baby down the street with a pram.
And they had some.
They had some mints to eat for lunch.
No, we had mints. We used a mince for our lunch because you said it was an object, right? A knife.
No, it was just the meat itself. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, welcome to the stream, the Basement Brothers. What was mince again?
It's ground beef.
Oh, it's just okay. So you had mince for lunch, and then candy floss.
Candy floss
for dessert. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, with that, let's move on to our topic. So we actually had my dad was asking us this question the other week, but my mom never typed it in chat. He was wondering what our opinion was on automatic driving cars or self-driving cars, and whether or not we think that is the future. So I think we've briefly touched on this topic once before, like very briefly, but I want to hear not only from Joe here, but I also want to hear from you guys as well. If you have any ideas on how you feel about self-driving cars, do you think they are the way of the future? Do you think that we'll be advancing toward them anytime soon? And what does that mean for people like car collectors and people who like driving stick shift? You know, like all these people that actually like driving their vehicle too. What does it mean for travel? All of those implications that could come from a self-driving or a driverless car. So with that, I'm gonna pass it off to you, Joe. What do you think about self-driving cars?
Well, I think that in the long run, if we were to have them, in the long run over generations, I think it would eventually become super popular and it would be like the thing. And maybe it'd be like what are some antique sort of things that you can do, but people don't like? Bow hunting. You can go bow hunting, but it's not really common nowadays. It's kind of outdated because people make guns. So, like, it's sort of, some people do it for fun, but you don't, it's not the only option for hunting.
Okay.
I think that's someday maybe years from now, like maybe not even within my generation, but years from now, I think there will eventually be a time when driving your own car is just going to be like bow hunting in the hunting realm of things. So,
that's fair.
That's how I think that I don't think it'll ever completely die unless somebody makes a law out of it, which I don't.
Okay, so you said it's going to become like a hobby, right?
Yeah, it'll be like a hobby.
I think you're correct that I feel so you're assuming that self-driving cars are going to become prevalent and that they're going to be a thing
eventually.
Okay.
However, the problem is I think it'll be a little difficult to implement though. And here's why. Cuz think about how many jobs are based around about driving. You got truck drivers, and then those truck drivers, they stop at different small towns that build up communities because they have enough incoming money from truck drivers.
Yeah. And
I think you get rid of that, it might have a huge impact on some small towns, but I think in the long run, things will eventually get back to what it'll at least somewhat repair itself, and those people will be able to find jobs again after a while. Well.
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna interject, Joe, because
we have two comments.
We have two comments, and I'm trying to bear with me as I figure out the placement of these comments because I don't think I sized them right, and I'm not sure how to adjust that at the moment, so I'll have to look into it afterwards. But there might be a lot of moving of the comments as we go throughout this.
Yeah.
But first one was by Andrea there, who a little scary, would be okay if it had their own roads to drive on, separate from a person driving. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos of these self-driving cars, but they've actually done tests, I believe,
on the real roads.
The real roads already, and it's been highly successful. And honestly, they've said that it's safer.
Yeah, because there's less accidents with them.
But there's also not that many out there. There's not much data on it yet. Let's put it that way. But from what I know personally about the technology, which is minimal, I'll give you that, but also my background in computers, from what it builds, it seems like it's fairly safe in the sense that it's literally on the fly building a 3D model of what's around it, and on that it's detecting on what actions to take past that. So I get the fear of a robot per se, or a computer directing your travel, and that's a totally legitimate fear, but I think that the technology is going to be getting to a point where it is safe enough, or even safer to some extent. So do you hold that same viewpoint, or are you different, Joe?
Well, if they're safe or not?
Well, if they're safer than, say, like human drivers.
Well, I think right now, since they're kind of in the testing phases, there might be more glitches. But I think after years and years of development, I'm not saying this will be anytime soon, but I think after years upon years of development, it'll eventually get to a point where they will be able to sense, like, everything.
Yeah.
And the situation with 10 people in front, you can either get out of the way and crash into a building or run into those 10 people. Well,
Wait, okay. Did you read a comment? Is that what I'm missing?
Yeah, there's a comment.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeet. I agree with you, Zach.
I can see it as public transportation. Yeah. I think that's kind of what they're going for, is more public transportation, and I think that's what they want people to shift to.
Yeah.
Because they don't want buses. Because people typically don't like buses.
Yeah.
Hi.
But the 10 people in front, or you get out of the way.
Say in front of the cars there are 10 people in front. You can either get out of the way, or crash into a building, or run into those 10 people. What then?
Well, I think anybody who's moral would say.
Okay, so you're giving the whole lesser of two options there, yeah. Correct? That's what I'm reading.
See, I think with that, I'd be like, everybody wants to say they crash into it, but what you're actually going to do in the moment is going to be driven by your instinct. Which, most of the time, what your instinct's going to tell you is save yourself. I mean, you're going to want to take the moral option, most people would say. But I think if you were actually in that sort of situation, or maybe not. Maybe you'd see the person and just slam on the brakes. Maybe you.
I would think
crash
that
into people.
No. Okay, I would think the AI. So, because if we're talking about the automatic driving cars, the self-driving. Bye, Zach. Thanks for stopping by.
I'm pretty sure the AR.
I would say that the AI would value or would try to avoid the 10 people on the road.
True.
I think that with the technology that's built in, it would say, hey, there's something in front of me. It's not really thinking about the passenger in the seat per se. It's thinking more about how to avoid the situations on the road.
True.
You know.
You know what? They made that point while you were talking.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it would choose for you. Correct.
Which I think that, I mean, we already see it nowadays with some certain cars. Like, there are cars out there already that when it detects objects in front of you, then it automatically slams on the brakes without you trying. So I think that technology is already coming close to being implemented in some cars.
Right,
yeah.
right. So do you think, Joe, that it's going to become a thing? Like where, and how does the government step in and say, you know, all of a sudden no more real driving on the road? Because that's going to also conflict with your statement of there's still going to be car enthusiasts that can drive on the road. Right?
Yeah, true.
So, but wouldn't that be a conflicting thing if you said, you know, let me just put this here. If you said, hey, look at the statistics of crashes from automatic or self-driving vehicles compared to the statistics from people who just drive by themselves. And I'm telling you right now, with the technology that we have and with the technology that we're going to be getting in the future, because we are talking about the future here. Yeah. I'm assuming that technology is going to progress to a higher state than what humans can perform at, because, I mean, even just look at our modern day computers now. They can do so much more than they did 5-10 years ago, like so much more, drastically. So if we're looking at that exponential increase, I think it's going to be the same thing with self-driving. Eventually, you're going to get a statistical difference between, you know, self-driving cars being higher performing and not having as many casualties as people driving. So wouldn't you think then the government or someone would step in and say, hey, Maybe we just shouldn't have people drive on the roads. And how's that going to impact car enthusiasts and vehicles that aren't self-driving? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is kind of interesting you bring up this because we kind of saw a CNN report about it a while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in my government class, the government teacher showed a lot of CNN videos, like, for daily news, because they have, like, a 10-minute clip every day.
Yeah.
And one of the segments was actually an entire thing about the self-driving cars and how they can impact our society.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the things they talked about. And they said what they predicted, I don't know what, I honestly have no idea with that particular situation, but what they predicted is that eventually they might be illegal to drive on the real road. But they think that people will always be, like, they'll have, like, private companies that own their own roads just for people who are car enthusiasts to drive on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be interesting. And I'm actually looking forward to, I don't know if I've shared this with you yet or not. Corridor Digital's doing a funny video about self-driving vehicles, and they're going to be doing a self-driving race. So I wonder how racing I think will be interesting to see how that. I don't think they'll ever use self-driving cars.
No.
But I think you'll see, do you think we'll see less and less people who want to go into racing or skilled at racing? You know what I mean? Bye. Go study for that final. Good luck.
Yeah, I got the final tomorrow too.
Joe's like, I don't need to study. We got a show to go. We got a show to do here. So, no, but as I was saying, self-driving cars, what would the automatic car do? I think in that situation, Andrea, that automatic car would avoid hitting those people to the best that it could. Which would probably have a better reaction time.
I think it would trigger the brakes to go immediately, which means, like, it'll try to brake as fast as possible, obviously. Mm-hmm. Maybe even start putting the wheels in reverse to start working in the opposite direction to slow it down even quicker. Mm-hmm. At the worst, it might hit... I mean, it would obviously try to avoid it as best as possible, but if you're super close to them, it might hit, like, the first or second person, but...
I think statistically it's going to give the best option... Or not statistically, but numerically. And I'm not talking about lives numerically. I'm talking about probabilities. So probability of avoiding an accident. It's going to give you the best probability to avoid an accident. Like, even better than, say, a human would. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Well, yes, and here's why. I think that we'd also see a major decrease. Well, there wouldn't be such thing as drunk driving anymore because
that's true.
The drunk drivers would just be like, "Hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna call up my self-driving car on my phone."
Yeah,
it'll summon it, and then they'll just step in the self-driving car and then drive, and then it'll drive them home.
So you're also taking the stance there then that self-driving cars will be privately owned, correct?
Possibly. I mean, I think there'll be either one of two outcomes.
Okay.
Either people will have their own private cars at home, and like I said, they'll be able to do it. Or, this is also another thing that was mentioned in that video, maybe there'll be like a garage full of them, and maybe it'll just be like an app on your phone that you click a button and
like
it
an Uber.
summons. Yeah, kind of like Uber, but with self-driving cars. So I think it'll go one of those two routes, and I think that having your own private one is always going to be an option.
Yeah.
But I think later on, it's eventually going to get to the point where that'll be so expensive, and the other one's just free. So... maybe not free, but like...
I would say, what, free?
Maybe not free. That'd be awesome if it was free, but the company's got to make their money somehow, even when they're spending gas. So it probably wouldn't be completely free, but it'd probably be way cheaper than buying one of these super fancy cars. Or should I say, uber fancy cars.
Okay, yeah. So, with that bad joke out of the way... let's move on to the next question here, which was from Amy, our mother. Do you think that machines can make moral decisions?
Well, I think that's up to the programmers, the people who program them. Because, I mean, machines, they just do what they're told to do.
Yeah.
A quote from my IT fundamentals teacher: "The computer is the stupidest thing ever, and you've just got to tell it what to do through coding."
Yes, so true.
And that's really what it is. It doesn't have any heart. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a brain. You've got to tell it every single process of what to do. So if the programmer who's programming the machine programs it to make this decision, then it's all down to what the person coded it to be. So I guess is who's behind the keyboard that's coding it.
Yeah, true. I would agree with that for sure. Sorry, I was just looking at something here for the text size.
Oh, okay.
Trying to fix it. But yeah, programmers are going to have a huge responsibility when it comes to moral code, would it be?
Yeah, moral code. Safety code.
Safety code?
Oh man, I can already see headlines saying what's a company that's working? Nvidia, I think, is one of them that's working with to make self-driving cars. Yeah. Nvidia sued for faulty coding causes life, and like so many companies that are taking part in this. I can just see so many headlines of them getting sued because of accidents. Yeah. Because I think that there are going to be accidents, and always, like, no program is perfect. We see that with like almost every video game, Windows, everything has glitches. In fact, we can get to something that shows that, but
talking about glitches, this chat, I think I'm just gonna hide the chat for now.
Yeah.
At least on this screen, it's good on our individuals, but on this screen, I can't find a good place for it, and it seems to be a little small. So, hopefully, you'll get the chat through the other windows. But
huzzah!
You were saying through companies being responsible for accidents.
I think that whoever programmed the machine would be the one held responsible. Whether it was actually the person who coded the machine. I mean, just look at some of the law cases nowadays. I mean, some of them are ridiculous. Like, the guys that sued Red Bull because it didn't give them wings. There was 2 of those cases, and they won. I mean, that's just garbage. And there's going to be other garbage cases, like, oh, I somehow pushed a button that deactivated the self-driving in my car. Why'd I get into an accident? It's this person to blame. There's going to be those sort of cases.
And through that, they'll work out kinks and stuff, too.
Through that, yes. They'll find ways around it after years of fixing the codes.
Yeah.
So I think after years and years and years of development, it'll eventually get to a point where it'll be feasible to use in society. But in the beginning, I wouldn't say go out and buy one of those cars they're testing on the street because they're cool.
I also hold the position that I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea to push everyone towards self-driving cars right away. Because it's very different for, especially in our area, for someone to have a self-driving car. It doesn't make much sense because you're driving everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that vehicle on demand at your house, on the spot. And like you said, it's going to be very expensive to make that kind of switch. I'd rather just get, a cheapo junker at the lot that will last me a good 5 years or so than spending, tens to maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars for a self-driving car. Like, you don't have that kind of money to just spend on that when literally you need a mode of transportation out here that's beyond biking because everything's so far apart. Now, for city driving, I think it makes great sense. Because, for one, it's going to really reduce traffic on the road. You look at the traffic problems that cities have, self-driving cars, if you replace, like, taxis with just self-driving cars, and I think that would help get a lot of individuals off the road, because a lot of people don't want to wait for, like, buses and stuff like that, or subways. Like, they really just want to have their own individual ride. And I think it would also eliminate some cost and I mean, this also talks about eliminating jobs too, and do you really want to eliminate jobs, you know? So you're breaking into a whole different sector into that market as well, and you're gonna have people that are gonna be upset about it either way.
Yep.
So it's a very big topic, and I don't think it's something that you can just lightly be like, oh, we should just move to that because it's safer.
It's a topic like net neutrality. It has more than one side, and both sides have very valid points.
Yeah, for sure.
There are many of these things. I mean, Yeah, there are many things where there are more than one side, and both sides have very valid points where it makes it really difficult to find one specific conclusion between the two. Which one is better?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's like equally negative and equally positive things for both sides. So how do you make a decision like that?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. It's hard to make a decision on something that, especially when it's two different scenarios. I think there's a disconnect, too, between cities and rural areas, where something that'll work in the city doesn't necessarily work outside the city as well.
Oh, yes.
There's a huge disconnect there. And we both, I think both rural and city are guilty of saying, oh, well, that's a stupid idea. That would never work. Because we forget about their situation, on either sides. So I think we need to do a better job of looking at each other's situations and determining what's best for that outcome, And I think that's the case here with self-driving cars. I think starting it in the bigger cities, I think that's a great idea. But to say that self-driving cars
are just around the corner,
I don't think that's true. There's a good thing. Let's wrap up this segment, and we'll move on to our next thing here. But before we do that, I just want to ask you one more question, Joe. Self-driving cars, if you were to give me an approximate number of years on when we're going to start seeing them on the road, and we'll say in cities to clarify.
In cities.
What year or how many years from now do you think that will happen?
I think that in urban areas, so excluding rural areas, I think in urban areas, I think it'll be by 2040. 2040.
That actually seems like quite a long time. You're thinking it's gonna be pretty slow.
I think it'll take time to work out all the kinks and the codes, because
okay.
Well, we'll see in our next segment some glitches that.
Because I'm thinking. I mean, I think you're right. I think 2040 is pretty close, but I would say like 2035, somewhere in there. So I'm taking 5 years off of yours, about. And
by the time it'll be perfected and good for rural areas, my children might not see that. I have no idea how long it might take.
It wouldn't take a long time to adapt to rural areas. I think the issue, like I said, is the cost.
Oh, and cost.
The cost and the on demand, because it's going to take a lot longer for a vehicle to drive from. I mean, that's why we don't even have really taxis out here either. It doesn't make sense. We do have some taxis, but you rarely see them. Rarely. Rarely do you see a taxi.
I only ever see them at church.
That's just in the parking lot, or yeah. So I very very rarely see a taxi on the streets in Wisconsin, or at least in where we live.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think that's common for any rural area. You're not going to see a lot of taxis because, like I said, the wait time from the depots is going to be much bigger.
Yeah.
So with that, we're actually going to move on to our segment. And speaking of segments, a new segment, which is what was it again?
Reddit
review. So this is, if I read it, which I haven't Reddited much. I haven't Reddited much in the past, and I've done a little bit. But these are going to be Joe's Reddit reviews.
Okay, so yeah, just for reference, on the bus in the mornings, I'm usually doing one of two things: watching YouTube or browsing Reddit. So we decided maybe we should just take some of these Reddit things that I find that I think are interesting and share them on our stream as another thingy.
As another segment.
And the segment. There,
that's the word you're looking for.
Yes.
With that, if there's, I'm just gonna get this ready here. If there's any segment ideas that you would like to see, or any ideas that you want to share with us, go ahead and put that in the comments section, or just send us a message after the show, and we will take a look at it, because we're looking for new ideas. I have an idea, but I don't think we'll reveal it just yet, because we want it to be a surprise, obviously. But we're trying to create more entertaining segments for the show, for you guys, to up the quality a bit, because.
Okay, wait. Don't look at the last one first.
Last one first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But anyway, here is, for the first time ever, the Reddit reviews. So.
Okay, so I included this particular one not because it was funny, but because I thought it was just ridiculous of how long they must have spent to make
so
this.
This is on a whiteboard?
Yes, and they stop motion the whole thing.
Wow. That's impressive. You know what this reminds me of, though? So wait, they did this in class, like during art time in class.
Well, if they're not lying in the title.
Still impressive. I mean,
still impressive. This must have taken them ages. They had to hand draw each one of those individual
it almost looks
frames.
like they didn't have a tripod either.
Yeah.
So, because they're moving around.
They also had to line up the shots.
Yeah. This reminds me of, so I don't know where that sheet went. I think it's upstairs. But I came across an old stop motion that I had drawn back in my high school days, where I had taken on the back of a piece of paper of homework, I think it was.
No, it wasn't homework. It was like a form, like saying how to get onto the online textbook.
It was, yeah. But it was, the Play-Doh stop motion.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, so I did a stop motion in class where I literally drew it with a ruler, and I drew out the boxes perfectly, and I would measure how many millimeters my objects would move within the frame. Like, I had it timed out perfectly. And then I imported all those images, I imported into, what was it? PowerPoint.
Yeah.
I imported into PowerPoint, and then I would set a timer, and I'd just go on the space bar. And it was only like a 5-second clip, but it was so cool.
And it was all hand drawn.
And what my mom's talking about there is the Play-Doh stop motion. So I guess I don't know what I was trying to do. I was just making a film, I guess. But it was about
Bob?
this. It was Bob, and I did this again too with man, I keep PowerPoint with PowerPoint.
Yeah,
I did this all with PowerPoint. I would just take photos and I would put them into PowerPoint. And I'd just spam the spacebar button when making a timed slideshow, and I would make the stop motion. So this also ties back into our Mudtown days, because it was for movies. It was fun. It was fun stuff, and I guess I didn't realize I was into making movies back then, but I realize it now. So let's move on to the next Reddit review, shall we?
Okay, you can just do a giant hacker.
This one.
Now, this one's from the Software Gore subreddit. Can you tell why?
Oh, jeez.
This is why I say some programs take years to hammer out and make good.
Well, this is PUBG,
True.
too.
This is one of the most notorious glitchy games, but...
It's been so glitchy. And this just goes to show how glitchy this game can be sometimes.
For those that don't know, the characters, they spawn in the plane, and they all are sitting in their seats. But for some reason, this one glitched out, and his texture was bigger than the plane.
It's a giant. Dude, wouldn't that be great if he parachuted down like that, too?
Everybody knows where you're landing.
Everyone knows your location. Get ready for the onslaught. Oh, man.
And then the last one's from /r/funny.
Okay. This is a good one. Or, like, funny. I've browsed this one before. So what are we looking for in this receipt?
Okay, so it's a customer request. First, before you scroll down more, just read the first part of the customer request. Okay. So
this right here?
Scroll down to the bottom of this one. Okay, and now read that.
Okay. Crust a little crispier than normal, but not too crispy. If that's not vague enough, make it like you're taking revenge on a cheating boyfriend, but you still want to reconcile in the not so distant future. What?
It gets even weirder. Read the second part of the customer request.
Oh, man.
Wait, read that part too.
The gate is tricky. Please don't break it. And the spider on the porch is called Frank. Be nice to Frank. He guards the tomatoes. What? This is a customer request? Like, for their pizza?
For their pizza.
I'm not quite sure what to make of that one, Joe. That's very odd.
He'll deliver his
pizza along with a fridge magnet for another pizza. Oh, man.
Frank, guardian
of the tomatoes. Yes. That is an odd request. Dude, could you imagine delivering that pizza? Just being like, hey, where's Frank? I want to see Frank. Oh, he's right there. You just look over and there's Frank just sitting on a tomato.
Spider.
Defender from the fruit flies. Is that what that is? Oh, man. All right. Well, that has been the first...
When you work in pizza delivery.
Yes, you see everything. So my dad's...
Both of our parents.
Yeah. Well, my dad did delivery.
Yes. Dad did delivery.
He told us a lot of delivery stories.
And Mom was a waitress, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yep. So, no, yeah, when you work as a pizza delivery, yes, you do. You see everything. All sorts of different things.
But not too crispy, if that isn't vague enough.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that has been the first segment of the Reddit reviews for the week. Joe's going to be searching through some more Reddit things.
Yes.
And we'll share them with you next time.
I had like 9 things ready, but we were like, we only needed 3. So I had like the next 2 weeks prepared.
Well, geez. Well, but we need it. We need it from the week, Joe. It needs to be your discoveries from the week.
Well,
if we want to share more later, we can. But
here, I'll send you them like right now while we're talking, and then if we want to, we can review more later.
Okay, that sounds good.
So just don't mind me staring at my phone. My eyes might be a little low for a little bit.
So no, we need to talk more about the future too. So because we only really touched on automatic cars, I guess that should have been the title because that's basically what we're talking about. But future topics. So where do you see? Here we go. Here's a good question. Where do you see your future going?
Where do I see my future? Well, that is a very big question, I guess.
That's why I asked it. It's a big question. It should give you a lot of stuff to talk about.
You know what? I really don't know where my future is going. I just kind of...
You just kind of go with the flow?
I go with the flow. Hence why I still have yet to read my book for English.
Nice. And when is that? Wait, that's due Monday, isn't it?
No, it's due next Thursday.
Oh, you told us Monday.
I thought it was Monday, but then I realized that the trimester our school's being weird, and they end the trimester later than our record keeping day. So record keeping day is on Friday, but the trimester ends next Wednesday.
Interesting. Oh, with the...
I don't see the
have you guys started... What?
I don't see the comments, by the way.
Yeah, I know it's not up. Hold on.
Okay.
Have you guys started the... You had a whole trimester to read it, and you're... Wait. You had a whole trimester to read this book, and you didn't even touch it yet?
Yeah.
How long is this book?
It's like 300 to... It's like 350 pages, I believe.
350 pages, and you need to read that in a week?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I read a 500-page book in one weekend once. I can do this.
Dude, that's like my worst nightmare. Having to read that much in a week. No way. No way.
Dude, I read like a 500-page book in one weekend before, so I think I'm good.
What book was that?
Inkheart.
Oh, okay.
I was supposed to read it for a thingy for English, and then
Well, here, you sent me a few more Reddit things here, too,
yeah,
right?
here. I got one more coming in.
Okay. That was fun. Let's open up a few more of these.
I sent you a few more Reddit things.
Yeah.
I have like one.
But you were saying Inkheart. Did you like Inkheart?
Yeah, it was a pretty good book, and yeah, it was a pretty good book. And I did good on my review paper, even though I read it speed read it in a weekend.
Reddit. Speed Reddit.
Speed Reddit. I didn't even notice I was making that joke as you were opening Reddit tabs.
Yeah, you're so punny.
Punny.
All right. This is a good one to start with?
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
All right. So we got...
Dish Netflix. Be vintage.
So they're saying instead of going off to Netflix,
I think
the
this
streaming
was
services
on /r/funny, I think.
That's.
Oh
I
yeah,
think so,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, funny. Now, one of these later on is from a. I'll tell you when we're up here. How to fight a bear.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Speaking of, that's one of my favorite videos on YouTube. Was how to fight a bear. Epic how to fight a bear.
Go check that. This is also from /r/funny. They have some of the best things.
Wow.
Okay, how to use Brazilian
Jiu-Jitsu.
you
take it away, Joe.
Against a bear. Step 1, wait for the bear to make a move. Step 2, when it attacks, duck and shoot in. Step 3, take its back. Step 4, it won't be able to reach you with its short arms. Step 5, go for a rear naked choke. Step 6, when the bear passes out, it will fall forward. You did it! Step 7, now step out of it. Step out of your fantasy and realize you died somewhere around step 2.
So right when you went to attack. Good job. Oh, man. But it would work if you got past step 2, right? Oh, jeez. All right. A few more here.
Now this is /r/perfect timing.
I want to do this so bad.
You got like skiing and then it's just
dude, that is bad. So actually, when's the last time you went sledding? That's a good question.
Last time I went sledding, I think it was last winter.
We need to do that again sometime.
We should.
I kind of wanna just go sledding so that I can put it in a vlog too.
Oh, James.
What?
Remember the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu but against moose?
I don't think that works on any large animal of that scale. I think I'm best off just like brandishing a weapon.
Or shoving your fist down its throat.
Oh yes. In a last ditch effort, if a bear's coming to bite your face off, just take your fist and punch him right in the back of the throat.
Because you might activate its gag reflex.
Yep. Great advice. Solid advice. You might lose your hand in the process, but you might live.
Yeah.
So, or it gets the taste for you and doesn't want to stop.
Oh, buddy.
It got really dark really fast. I'm sorry.
But still, this Reddit post.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I love it.
I'm so jealous.
All right.
Oh, boy. Now, one more. This is...
One more.
And this subreddit name has an inappropriate word in it, so I'm not going to be saying it.
We'll probably see it.
Oh, well, whatever.
Should we still look at it?
It's
Joe, you got to keep it clean on this stream, man.
It's just the word but.
Oh, you just said it.
It's not that bad. No, it's not but it's...
Oh, it's that. Okay.
Wait, no, I sent you the wrong email. Well, this one's good, too. Never mind, this one's software goer. This one's software goer.
You built it up, Joe.
Here, I can send you the other one, though.
Well, you probably did. I probably just didn't pull it up yet.
Oh.
So, what is this one now?
It's when this person asks Siri, when does winter end?
Winter ends March 2019? Oh, my word. We're in a deep freeze, guys. Look out. It could be a while yet.
Once again, programming is almost never perfect on first try.
That's true. That's true. You always need to edit and refine, edit and refine.
Reddit and refine.
That was good, Joe. That was a good one. I'll give you that. Oh, man.
Okay, yeah. Another subreddit that I was talking about is whole design.
Oh, let me see if I got it or not here.
It's that word, then whole design.
Yeah, I did.
It's referring to like maybe I didn't send you that one. No,
this one, right?
I didn't send you the other one. Okay.
Oh, okay. So what's this one? Let's take a look here.
Just read it. Does that annoy you?
The cringe. The cringe on this one is real. Please don't waste printer ink. Let's print every color of the rainbow, shall we?
There, I sent you the last one also.
Man, sometimes the logic that people use.
Please don't waste printer ink.
You could have done a piece of white paper with the text on it. You didn't have to. Oh man. Okay.
Think about this. They probably have one of those for every single color printer.
Oh my word! You think so? I don't. It could just be a specific class.
True.
It could just be like an art class or something.
I did send you the last.
I'm not getting it, Joe.
Here, I'll reshare it to you, just in case. Boys.
I'm not seeing it. Let's check our comments here. Make sure I'm not missing anything.
Okay, sending message. It says it's sending to you, brother. It says.
I don't see it. We'll
wait a little bit.
We'll get it later. We'll get it later.
In the meantime, the future.
Well, no, we need to install another random fact.
Oh yes.
Before the end of the show here, because we're getting close. We're getting very close. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, or you just want to chit chat with us, go ahead and leave us a comment. We would love to say hello.
Once again, I just grabbed a random one. And
when's the grocery haul coming? That's a good question. I will be working on that, I think, next week. We just actually went shopping, or my mom went shopping and picked up some stuff for everyone the other day. So I haven't needed to go in a while. So probably next week is my thought on that. Because I know everyone was asking for it, so we'll do that next week. And I've been trying to get back on my own plan. You know, I've just been watching my calories and macros lately. So, random fact, Joe. Give us a random fact. What book did you pick?
I picked the Book of Extraordinary Facts, and I opened up to this page, and this is one of my favorite pages out of this entire book. It's called Odd Ordinances. And it's pretty much just weird laws that have been placed throughout history. This may be a little outdated because this book is getting a little on the older side, so that some of these laws may not be true anymore. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, is this for? So, what country is this for then?
Just different. It'll say in the law.
Different countries. Okay.
So we'll start off with a good old Wisconsin one. In the 1930s, it was a crime to serve apple pie without a cheese topping in Wisconsin.
I think I've actually heard that one before. I don't know. Maybe you told me it because it was in this book.
Maybe.
Is that why? Have you read these before?
Yeah.
Because you've read through all.
I've read
right?
to them before. To you, I know.
That's great.
But these are just great.
Oh man! All right, give us another one. We'll do like 3 or 4, and then I think we'll wrap things up here. Unless we got people.
It's illegal to fall
questions.
asleep in a bathtub in Detroit.
Like still, or is this just when was that last updated?
I don't know if it was, but from the time this book was released, it was illegal to fall asleep in a bathtub in Detroit.
Wow.
I guess they don't want you to drown.
I mean, it makes sense, but how do you enforce something like that?
I know.
How do you enforce? Sorry, guys, you can't sleep in your bathtub.
Also, this one, I don't know if this is written right. I think it might be a typo, but I think it says bathing without clothes is not allowed in the state of Florida. And how do you bathe with clothes on?
Well, I mean, you can.
But that's weird.
I mean, it's kind of hard to apply soap to skin.
I know, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
So I think that's out. I think that's a typo. I think it's supposed to say bathing with clothes. I would think. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
Throwing banana peels on the streets will get you in trouble in Waco, Texas. The reason is because they could cause a horse to slip.
That's okay. Have you ever ridden a horse?
No. Well, yes, I have.
When was that? When did you ride a horse?
At a dad's safety meeting for.
Oh, for work. That's right. Yeah. How'd you like that?
It was pretty fun.
Last time I rode a horse, I'm like, man, this is high up. This is a
high
up place. Yeah, it's kind of.
I don't have a fear of heights, so I can see if you have a fear of heights. Then
I used to.
True.
And I think the last time I rode a horse, I still was.
Yeah.
And I think I still kind of do, but it's not as bad. It's like if I have a railing, I'm good, but otherwise, no.
Yeah.
Or like the glass bridges and stuff like that, I can't. No.
Oh, those things.
Or even roller coasters. Those freak me out too. I can't do roller coasters. So
okay.
I think. Do you have one more interesting one? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here.
Firemen aren't allowed to rescue women wearing nightgowns in St. Louis.
So what, do you just leave them?
I guess, but maybe there was some angry wives. They're rescuing women in nightgowns.
I'm sorry, if I see someone in danger, I'm pulling them out of the burning building. If, like, they're unconscious, I'm pulling them out of that burning building. I don't, regardless of what they're wearing. Okay. Well, that wraps up this section of Random Facts from Joseph here.
And then, do you want to check if you got that email yet or not?
We'll check. Otherwise, I think we'll just wrap things up because we're about at that mark.
Yeah.
So let's just see. Refresh it here.
Didn't come in. That's so
No,
weird.
it didn't. Well, we can get to it next time. It's all good.
Yeah, we can.
So, let me, any final thoughts, Joe? Anything you want to add?
No.
No? You good?
Don't have any final thoughts.
All right.
A little short this time, but...
No, we're like right on the mark because I got a few things here to wrap up. So, thank you guys for joining us, chatting with us, talking about the future and self-driving vehicles and whatnot.
And then weird things I found on Reddit.
And weird things Joe found on Reddit. We've got more segments to come in the future. And if you have any suggestions for us, go ahead and leave them in the comments. We will take a look. I will fix the chat for next week so it's actually up on the screen. And you can still read it because it was kind of small this week. Tried messing around with it. Not quite there, but you can find us here. And also now, like we said, Twitch. We're going to be streaming on Twitch on my account, Boris2395. That's Boris with 2 R's. And we'll be starting that up mid-March was what we're thinking. So we'll get a specific date for next time.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching the Basement Brothers.